falling from grace. For America, it's going to be more interesting, though. I feel like the American team's a lot more aggressive, normally a lot more sort of, you know, in their face. It's in the titles, you know, you got hyped up. They're a team that definitely live by that mantra. So I think this one will be a bit more explosive.
On that note, we actually have the standings to see where the teams are by the end of things. And as you can see here, it's been a pretty steep ordeal. Hyped up, #1 team in the world in terms of points. No team comes even close to how many points they've been able to earn throughout the season. V, shortly behind them, have been able to defeat Hyped Up a few times now, both, you know, off stream during the regular cups and on stream. We're able to take some wins as well. And Yakuza USA underneath them with 930. I'm very excited. We're going to see what teams are actually guaranteed for the Season 1 finals, and that's going to be V Gaming. They're going to change themselves up now. Yeah. Hyped Up, Yakuza, and Amplified Gaming. Amplified must have been the direct invite. We have been seeing Amplified for a long time, and we'll be seeing them again in the Season 1 finals. So, a nice mixed bag, I think.
Wait, we totally had a team called Amped Up at one point, right?
I think it was Hyped Up and I think it was always Amplified. I wonder if it was Amped Up and
Hyped
I don't
Up.
think so. I think it was Hyped Up and Amplified was always the two teams. I think my memory might fail me. We haven't really seen a lot of Amplified, so we've seen them sort of like, you know, here and there by the end of it. So we're going to be seeing them again at the Season 1 finals. Okay. But Hyped Up is the one that we're completely guaranteed. They really are that sort of #1 team in terms of the standings, and we'll have a look at the bracket and find out what the matchups are going to be as well. But the question's always going to be which team can sort of reign supreme at the last second. We know where we saw a team. It's kind of crazy, really, how the team that won Europe today is not a team that's confirmed for finals. Like, what's going on there?
Yeah, it is a bit of a weird one. Obviously, this taking part, sort of coinciding with our build-up to the Season 1 finals. Obviously, works a little bit different there in terms of the point system of how you get in. This is just for cash, whereas that is for the points to actually get into the LA finals. So it's interesting they've actually been able to overstep an upset when it comes to the cash cups, really.
Well, that does mean that very likely, again, it's going to be very, very similar, where we pretty much have this storyline of which team is going to be looking the strongest as we go into Season 1. Because that's always the thing that I think intrigues me, is which teams can remain consistent. Consistency has pretty much been a bigger thing in North America, because it's been V and Hyped Up every single time without fail, unless they face off against each other in the semis, which can happen. But here comes the bracket. We're actually going to find out what the matchups are going to be. So, as we can see in the semis, Hyped Up and B, I mean, we literally just talked about this, and it's happening again. Hyped Up versus B could easily be a grand finals, but in this case, it's not. And Amplified versus Yakuza USA. Kind of funny, really, actually. Our 4 confirmed teams are here in the bracket, and we're going to be watching them play, so you guys get a nice little early look at maybe what we can expect in the Season 1 finals.
Yeah, so this makes a whole lot more sense than what we saw in Europe, right? This is kind of how the final week should go. You expect to see all 4 of the top teams, the invited teams, and the teams that qualify through points off their own merit, facing off. Because surely you would, right? It's the last chance you have to sort of get some practice in an official environment before you go to the tournament. There'll be no time really to practice between then and, you know, planning everything, obviously getting there. It's going to be a whole lot of sort of, you know, deadlines and working around the clock of, you know, you're going to get there, there's going to be the media stage, people are going to want to take pictures of you, preparation for the tournament. In terms of gaming, this would be your last world's attempt to actually play against those teams in an official environment, in your best of 3s, in your best of 5s, and not only that, to steal the additional kudos and, you know, the cash at the end of it. So a bit weird that America has sort of brought everyone out, whereas Europe seems like people were sleeping, right?
Yeah, Europe was just sort of very, very hit and miss for some reason. I've got to say, it was a little bit confusing to me, but, you know, there's plenty of time to think about that, and they're going to be thinking about the big one. You know, they've got the big tournament to worry about, but there's just a little bit more consistency from, you know, America, which is common here in the Guns of Boom Go4s, where America tends to be a lot more standard of what you expect. The same teams will win, the same teams will get grand finals, etc., etc. And it's almost fitting that it's you know, it's our usual programming today as well. But that does basically mean that it's not going to be a storyline of, is there going to be any new blood stepping up to the plate? It's, we know what our best teams are. The question's going to be, who is the final champion as we finish things off with our Season 1 finals later. We talk about it a lot because it's a big deal. You know, there's an element of less unfamiliarity from America as well. They're going to have less experience with an offline LAN setting because we had the European Invitational, but America currently has not had a big tournament to call its own for Guns of Boom, so there's going to be that much unfamiliarity. but they're going to be in home turf, right? You know, an American player playing in America always gives them a nice little hometown advantage.
Yeah, that's true, right? You're going to be a little bit more pumped up. You're going to be in an environment that you're comfortable with. Also, the other side that is, you know, just sort of a normal thing is travel. It's so much easier for them to physically get to California, depending on where they actually live in America, because obviously it can still take equally as long if you're coming from the furthest side away. But as long as they're sort of, you know, pretty local to that San Jose area, it shouldn't be too hard to actually get there. It's going to be a lot easier on your body in terms of jet lag and sort of traveling. You can arrive fresh, you can be pretty comfortable, you might be used to the weather, you might be used to that environment. And it just depends really on the players, because we've seen the, you know, the Europeans when they've been in a LAN environment. They've all been to Poland, they all tent up, they all seem to get on with each other very friendly. You know, they understood how the environment worked, how the tournament went on, and quickly got to grips with it. Is it going to be that easy for the Americans? They're going to be thrown straight in off the deep end. You know, this isn't, you know, the Poland finals, this is the Season 1 LA finals. It's a lot bigger, prize pool's a lot more inflated as well to actually show that. So it could be quite a nerve-wracking experience for some of them, depending on how well they quickly sort of get used to this new esports environment they find themselves in.
That's always a sort of given as well when a game is new. You know, when a sort of game in its competitive life is something that the players haven't experienced. This whole area, you kind of get used to seeing people experience it for the first time. You know, we almost take it for granted. You know, we've been involved in esports for a long time with various different games, and you've seen how players react. But the second you take something new into the fray, and almost every single player in Guns of Boom has not really competed seriously before. They may have played games at a high level, maybe they would play ranked online in different games here and there, but this is the first time you're signing up for cups, you're winning money, you're getting sent halfway around the world to play a video game, which, you know, back in the day was unheard of. It was really weird that players would do that. But as we progress, these things just get easier and easier, don't they? So we're waiting for the current vetoes as soon as we know what the map picks will be, which, I've just been told is right now. We have them ready to go soon. You guys will see what the picks are. 2 out of 3 here, because we're in our semis. Farming Complex, Military Warehouse, Wild West. This is an American map pick. I'm not surprised at all that we're going to be starting with these maps and finishing on Wild West, if it comes to that.
Yeah, it's a favourite. Obviously, Buffalo Wild Wings quite big in America, so it makes sense for the prancing buffalo.
And you know, actually, I've just been told, we found this out before we went live. Interestingly, V picked every single map. Hyped Up cared absolutely not to be involved in this veto system. So Hyped Up, I mean, they've been confirmed #1 seed for a long, long time. They pretty much said in the discussions, just let V pick anything, we don't care. So I'm assuming Hyped Up are going into this tournament with an air of easygoingness. They probably don't care as much.
They're probably quite confident to just walk in and just think, all right, look, no matter what the veto is, whatever, we're going to win. So just pick whatever maps you want. They're probably just confident to do that because, you know what? You know, they've won so many times. They've played all the maps anyway. What, you know, what's the point?
And it also means that if Hyped Up are able to win this tournament with this format, it's pretty much safe to assume that if they're letting V pick the map in the semis, they're probably going to let their opponents pick the map in every mode. So if we see them in the grand finals, I assume it will be very, very similar. That's interesting because if Hyped Up win today, it's a pretty big statement to make of the vetoes are meaningless to us because you lose no matter what.
Yeah.
That pretty much means they can go into the finals feeling pretty damn good about themselves.
I mean, that's the one good thing, right? Is if a team themselves is comfortable enough to say, hey, look, just do the veto for us and we'll still win, then how can you even anti-strat that opponent,
You can't
right?
pick against them because they win.
Yeah. This is the thing, no matter what map you pick, they're going to be like, yeah, sure, we can play it. It's fine. Like, we've literally just openly let someone do our vetoes. We don't care.
Well, we talked earlier about confidence and how much of a difference it can make. I'm excited to see if, again, I'm going to be a little bit biased here. I kind of want to see Hyped Up win because they're being this confident in themselves. There's definitely an air of arrogance there as well, where you basically say, I don't care, pick what you want. And if they can win from this, then that's just a great message, to be honest. I love cockiness in a player, and I love a confident team. I think it really shows a lot of personality. A lot to talk about as well as they go into the Season 1 finals. If they can win their last tournament by just not even playing by the traditional rules, you know, they're not picking a map because they generally don't care because they know they're going to win regardless. That's just stuff they can talk about on the day. You know, they can give the teams their media day and have them say, oh yeah, we won easy. This part of the world's free. Where's Europe to give us a real challenge, you know? That, I mean, that's words that could be said. And I hope they get said because great storylines, mate.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot to sort of find out as well. That's the fact. We're now so close to LA that we can actually see these two, regions play off against each other finally, because it has all been online. Obviously, they know of each other, but they can't really compete fairly against each other to sort of rank each other in that position. Now going into LA finals, we're actually going to get to see that for the first time. Sort of take Black Balls versus Hyped Up as a matchup that, on paper, sounds like it could be really interesting. A huge conflict of styles, obviously two contrasting teams that have very different players, very different play styles, play in different regions of the world, now finally playing against each other on a level playing field in their home turf. It's an interesting one. There's a lot of potential matchups that could be good for the LA finals.
Or it's going to be really, really not what anyone's expecting, and one part of the world is just straight up better.
Yeah, Hyped Up just win every game.
What if it's like, obviously this could easily be a thing where, like, there's always the conversations of which part of the world's better, EU, like obviously CIS and all that stuff, or North America, and like the top 4 teams are all America, or vice versa. Like, that's going to be pretty mad to see, but there's literally been no way to tell until the big LAN, which is going to be happening in a few weeks. So again, just to sort of remind you guys what you're here to watch, this is the Go4 Cup Finals for Guns at Boom. It has been a long-lasting season, which is going to be concluding offline in a few weeks' time in California, combining all of our teams that have made it this far. But up until this point, it's been the Go4 finals every 2 weeks, which don't actually matter to the overall point standings, but it does matter towards, I think, just confidence between players and teams and getting yourselves out there on stream, and you play for an extra chunk of change, which these cups do. It doesn't have any bearing on the Season 1 finals now, but it is going to give the teams a nice little payday if they win, and it is going to show everyone else that they are the guys and girls to beat. I'm excited to see what happens here. Loading into the maps right now. I believe we're currently waiting. I'm not actually sure what's happening so far. When we know what's going on with the teams, we'll let you know as soon as possible. But right now, at least we know what the maps are. Yeah,
that's true. We've always got that to talk about. We've always got that to fall back on.
That military warehouse. Yeah. We don't see that every day.
I know. It still does look like a giant tomato has overgrown the military warehouse.
I would say so as well. I blame the tomato for everything.
Probably.
I've actually got a really itchy nose, and I can't itch it until the camera moves. This is actually hell on earth.
If really you mentioned it, you could now just scratch it.
I don't want to do it on camera. I refuse. But it is really bad.
Your eyes going to start watering.
Probably, to be honest. It is genuinely. I'm not making this up. It's really rough.
Do you want me to scratch your nose for you?
Yeah, you haven't got. You can't reach your arms. It's just going to be really strained.
Probably get.
I know, but
from there.
It's. That's just not something I want on camera.
No, it's not.
But
not approved.
I do hope we can get the players in the lobby, because I'm actually suffering pretty bad. I will admit.
There you go.
Yes, thank you so much. Oh my god. Oh my god.
It's a good scratch.
Oh. All right, I think we're back. I think we're good. I think we're all right, actually.
Yeah.
God, I don't know. You guys didn't seem nothing, and that will keep it that way.
Well, it's quite a spooky month, isn't it, Halloween? October's not bad.
Well, what a conversation starter. It's a spooky month, isn't it?
Yeah.
What's your favourite horror? What's your favourite horror film?
It doesn't really count as a horror film, but overall, it is my favourite movie. I'm a big fan of Shaun of the Dead.
It's half. It's a comedy horror, isn't it?
It's Yeah.
Yeah.
So you've got that kind of gore in there. I think it's a very good movie. I do appreciate that. Horror movie-wise, I don't know what would take the cake as
my two favourite horror movies have always been Hellraiser and The Thing.
Oh, okay.
I love The Thing.
Thing is a good movie.
The Thing is like one of the best movies ever made.
It's also like one of the most plagiarized movies in terms of like how, like certain shows or certain films will always do the plot of The Thing.
Always.
Literally copy it to a T.
You don't know who is and who isn't. Yeah. It's not as good.
Yeah.
But the thing is,
X-Files did a good Thing rip-off episode.
Oh, did they?
Yeah. It was actually very similar to The Thing, literally.
I remember my mum used to watch the X-Files, and I always used to have to go to bed because I was too tired. It was late. I would always hear the theme though in bed. I'd be in bed and go. My mum used to have the TV on way too loud back in the day.
So you just heard the entirety of the trying to sleep.
Well, the X-Files theme doesn't really work too well. It's very booming.
Yeah.
So even on a semi-loud TV, it's
by the bass.
Yeah. So if you're trying to sleep and I'm like, an 8-year-old kid trying to go to bed, it's like I just see it. That's great.
Just lightning outside the window.
I used to think
alien.
I used to think it was the greatest theme ever until the internet came along and ruined it.
Yeah.
It's no longer the X-Files theme, is it? It's something else. It's just evolved.
you know, what is it? It's just used as like, you know,
it's
unexplained.
Like, it's like when you said, like, I blame the tomato, the
Yeah.
military warehouse. I blame the tomato-looking thing to being why we can't get the players in. It's
Yeah, probably would be. We zoom in, little Illuminati logo in the bottom left.
I blame. Yeah, you could zoom in. I think you could zoom into any one of those pictures and you could get a triangle that would just, you know, dream.
Probably. It's
like
a small triangle.
I just feel a lot more like Tien from Dragon Ball doing this though. Just doing the tri-beam.
Yeah.
You watched Dragon Ball back in the day? Just
yeah. I was a big fan of Trunks. I feel like Trunks is probably...
well, he's got the...
yeah, he was cool.
Sick. I can't do it myself because obviously I just flail my arms.
I'm just flailing.
Yeah.
I'm just flailing, guys.
Burning Attack. That's what it was called actually, Burning Attack back in the day.
Oh.
That's the thing about being a commentator, right? All these little key moves from shows that you forget the name of, we remember them all now.
Yeah, yeah.
It's the tri-beam, it's the Burning Attack.
What was the there was a new Dragon Ball Z game that came out recently, wasn't there?
Oh yeah, Dragon Ball Fighters.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a very good game. I don't even know what we're talking about at this point. There's basically, guys, for those that have just joined, we are waiting for players to be ready in the lobby. And oh,
it looks like we're in.
Yes, yes.
Well, obviously, legally, if the people aren't on the server within 15 minutes, we're legally allowed to leave.
We're allowed to leave.
Yeah.
If the players aren't ready in 15 minutes, the other team's legally allowed to win.
Yeah. You legally win.
Oh my word. Well, that was a journey, Jackie.
That was good. We went through a couple of things there.
The quest has just begun, though.
Yeah, I know. This is game 1. This isn't a very safe way of storing nuclear material. I feel like...
No, I agree. Just look at the leaks,
there's
man.
seepage out of the roof.
Way too much seepage. And I must say, I don't agree with it.
No, there's seepage everywhere. This map is is soaked. It's not acceptable. Even Corrupt's gun has some warning logos on there because of the toxicity of this map. But we are finally in with not a team player kicking it off, as he will be able to find the first kill. However, Hyped Up are storming ahead as per usual. And Aqua_Aman. So
wait, Aku_Aman?
Yeah.
What? That's the weirdest way of spelling Aquaman I've ever seen.
I like it. I like how Hyped Up, they always switched up a little bit. You never know what you're going to get. You know, you've got Venom there, obviously still off the back of the movie popularity, looking quite good. Raph of the Lich King, I imagine. He's also in the team. Ariel. So you have a Mermaid, an Aquaman, a Lich King, and
Venom.
Venom.
We can do whatever we want. Oh, including get headshot apparently. Oh. But it's going to be an incredible back and forth so far. Team deathmatch is always this sort of typical style, isn't it, where the two teams will trade it. If they're evenly matched, you will only last so long until you lose your stack, which is why we're kind of seeing the back and forth take place. Just look at the kill feed. Lots of red on blue so far, but that's going to be quickly done. Aquaman gets another kill himself, headshot, sneaks up on Jen to get an extra one, and the fire rate for that shotgun, I've got to admit, the name escapes me, but very, very fast fire rate.
It seems that there's a reason why everyone's now using it, because pretty much every player has switched out to it, it seems, and it does seem a little bit outrageous in how much damage it can actually deal.
It's super fast fire rate too.
It's just like a little combat shotgun. It's weird.
Well, if you're going to be doing TDM and you're in the military warehouse, you want rate of fire. You know, you're going to be in those point-blank scenarios all the time. And that's where a weapon like this one will reign supreme at the end of the day. 218 points each. Aquaman takes another life, as he's doing incredibly well, actually. It looks like, points-wise, looks like Venom and Jen, they're both sort of collectively having some difficult games here. Corrupt gets a killing spree. Important indeed. He's already been a star performer for the team. Now a little bit further.
Being able to...
What is that sniper rifle? So I must sound really ignorant. I've not seen a couple of these new weapons.
There's a lot of new things.
It's like a big block of cheese when it's yellow.
It's got quite a few radiation logos on it.
We're on the map for it. Just saying, hey guys, watch out for the seepage. And he just actually, Gentrix just stood in the seepage. Ooh, that got punished, that's right. He shouldn't have stood in it. No. It'd have been alright.
See, that's the issue. When you stand on the seep, you're likely to leak.
What? I don't even know. That was the worst I've heard. Ooh. Corrupt. Actually, pretty dangerous. There's a few people around him here, giving his position away. But ooh, gets one kill. Excellent. Turnaround grenade, unfortunately, isn't able to get the job done as Aquaman sneaks up behind. But I think so far, V looking pretty good. And Hyped Up, actually, looking at some of the team names.
Oh.
It looks like they have mixed up some of their players again.
Yeah.
You know, there are some differences. There's no Stark. I believe it was Stark on one of the teams.
See, but the worrying factor is, though, have they just changed their names to different...
I'm not sure. It's so hard to tell.
Because you never really know.
Yeah. But, oh, that big double. But unfortunately, even though he got 2 with the grenade, it wasn't enough. He could have got a really sick triple there, but just he did not have the damage on the table. But hang on a minute, they've turned it around. V, wonderful triple kills. That grenade did not go off in vain, weakening everyone massively. And now they've got to be careful. Cannot give up a single kill.
Yeah, if they lose 1 life, they're out of this game. Or the nade's going to be rolling in as well. However, they are getting them at least low on the sides of V, and that's all they need to do is win these firefights commandingly. Venom goes in, but Wraith gets traded as he's on his own. So that is a victory for V. And the sad fact is that Aquaman was absolutely dominating. I think he had like 230 points. They still lose.
Yeah, it's always a bit of a heartbreaker when you sort of play out of your mind and yet you're still unable to get the win. It can be quite frustrating when you are a player that's been able to do that because, you know, ultimately if you are a real star performer, it's nice to be able to win and look at your points and go, I was the contributing factor towards that. I was the reason we won. But if that happens and you lose, it builds frustrations. It can build frustrations there where you have no choice but to look at your own performance and you understand that, man, if everyone played like me, we would have won the game.
Yeah, it's rough. It's a horrible position to be in. But then again, you know, Guns N' Boom, it's hard to tell because unlike a game where you kind of have support players that are really setting you up, you do sort of have that in this game, but it's more so in the sense of knowing when to allow someone to go for multi-kills or bring someone down to a low amount of HP, know you've scraped their armor off, know you've tagged them a few times, then telling a player that's already close to getting a killing spree or a quad kill to try and shut them down. So it's interesting, you know, the scoreboard never really tells the full picture sometimes and can be a little bit awkward. However, on the map full of seepage, we did see one team leak their way through to victory, and that is going to be V that have picked up the first map here. Bear in mind, it's only a best of 3, as we are in the semi-stages still. So we need one more map to win this series versus Hyped Up.
V have been able to defeat Hyped Up before, even though Hyped Up are definitely the #1 team in this part of the world through points and tournament dominance alone. They are not completely unbeatable, and that's definitely one thing we have to sort of really remember here, that just because they're #1 does not mean they are untouchable. V proving that time and time again, on the verge of doing the exact same thing. So up next, Farming Complex. V have historically been very, very good on this map. I remember many times when we watch these guys play, regardless of what their team is, they always tend to win whenever we're on Farming Complex, and it tends to give them a lot of good starts, especially in the grand final scenarios where they would so consistently face off against Hyped Up. So I've got to say, I favor V with this map in particular, and if they lose, I'll be surprised. This could be 2-0.
Yeah, I feel the same. I think in reality, V should just be able to lock it down here, right? They've done the veto for both teams, and they should be pretty confident with the maps they've been able to choose because they literally did just choose them. Farming Complex is somewhere where we've always seen them perform well in the past. Why would that change now?
I mean, Hyped Up did kind of let V pick their best maps here. And if they lose 2-0, it's like, congratulations, guys.
Played yourself. Well done.
Do you know what I mean? Like, there's a flip side. I love confidence, right?
Yeah.
And even if Hyped Up don't take the win, I still respect what they did today because they're still confident they can win regardless. And they don't need to care. They've qualified for the finals. They're by a margin. They're already going to be there. So this is not the most important tournament for them. However, if you try and be cocky and you get 2-0, then it's like, cool. Yeah, at least you've learned how to taste defeat after being confident, right? So there's a learning experience regardless of whether you win or lose. If you're going to be a villain in the story, then you got to learn how to take a loss as well, I think. But they have not lost yet. They're only one map down, of which V currently hold the title. One map up here at the Farming Complex, also selected by V due to the, I would say now, maybe questionable decision of Hyped Up to not pick any of their favorite maps.
Very interesting one, but, you know, confidence is everything, apparently, and they went for it. So let's see if it is going to pay off. Farming Complex here. Following map in this series. Hyped Up, they need to be able to step it up right now, or this will be a good night for them, and they will be going to the 3rd place decider, which will be another one of our teams that is definitely a pretty top contender. Knocked down into the 3rd place decider. However, for America, both sides of the brackets are very firmly stacked. There is no one side that looks weaker than the other.
Well, we're loading in right now, so we're going to see if V can sort of take that. Yeah, and actually taking the first blood. Very useful stuff there, getting them a nice little early lead. And kind of what I said before, like, V have been very, very good on this map in the past. And wow, look how fast Wrath is moving. Combination of weapons that increase movement speed and fast pants that you can put on your characters to run faster, you can really sort of bolt it. But Aquaman getting an immediate triple kill, looking to be a real high up there player again, like in our previous map.
Fast pants sounds like something you have to be described. Like if you went to the doctor and said, I'm having issues, and you just went, oh, you know what you need? Some fast pants.
That's just the name of like a over-the-counter medication.
Yeah, fast pants.
Fast pants.
Get you back in the game every time.
Every point will be yours.
It's like, do you know those adverts for Head On? Head On, apply directly to the forehead. Head On, apply directly to the forehead.
Fast pants.
Apply directly to the pants.
The enemy captured point A.
Anyway, on that note, things are quite even here, Jackie.
They are. Apply directly to the forehead, Ryan.
That was applied directly to the dome, that double grenade. The effective area. That was a complete trade, but it's going to be in their favor. Team player able to take one out, but Wrath. I want to say, Wrath kind of gave his position away there with the shotgun. I don't know why. If there's 3 people and they're far away and he's got a shotgun, why does he fire then? He accomplished nothing but give himself away. They just turned around and dumped on him. Poor guy.
Yeah, that would be rough.
Ooh. Straight back in the action though. But unfortunately team players able to turn around because the coordination is there to turn on. V looking very, very good indeed. If they just maintain this lead, it's going to be 2-0. Easy money. Maybe moving into grand finals here. Setting a standard, showing us all why they are the best in North America. And this is, I've got to say, this is destruction. They are destroying Hyped Up right now.
This is rough. And I feel like the one thing to take away from this as well, Ryan, is the fact that clearly Tony Stark is more useful on a team than Aquaman.
Yeah, I mean, one can talk to fish and one actually has loads of tech.
And lots of money. Aquaman has manatees. But obviously, there's no water here, is there? It's all dry land.
I mean, what use is Aquaman going to be on a farm? Not an ounce. I can't see a speck of water.
He could get some koi fish to suckle on them aggressively, I guess. I don't know.
Well, unfortunately for them, V are going to easily take this one and say, you know what, guys? If you want to let us choose the map, we're like, you know, going to pick our favorite maps and beat you 2-0.
Exactly. I imagine that was what was said in the pre-game chat. That was the flame that came across.
I mean, like, they allowed V to choose the maps, and V chose the maps, and V just slapped them up.
They won those maps.
They did pick those maps, and they won those maps. Like, what else is there to say? If you let a team choose their maps, they're going to pick the maps they like the most. And they got destroyed. 2-0. Free. Easy.
Yeah, that was a quick one. And it's out of the way. Very interesting. I wonder if we'll see a similar 2-0 affair in our other semi-final of the night, because up to this point, every game that's been played for North America has been a 2-0. We haven't seen a single extended series just yet, so it's very interesting.
Either way, I think that does automatically, in my opinion, kind of really sort of push V up to being the absolute favourites to win this tournament today. If it always tends to go between Hyped Up or V, because they are sort of, you know, they're definitely the top 2 in North America. Yeah. Seeing as we're now in that position and V are sitting in grand finals and Hyped Up, I'd say Hyped Up my pick to get 3rd and V my pick to win the tournament. Like, there's really not much else we can even analyze in that situation, because it's how the results have gone since the Go4s began. It's always been these top 2 teams, as the bracket gods have decided due to previous, you know, results in our Go4 qualifiers. It's pretty much going to be the 2 strongest teams, and one has to win, and one now has to get 3rd place. I just feel like it's going to be another one of our repeats. But if there's a time for a team to turn up and surprise, that time is going to be now. We have our next semi-final up next, Amplified versus Yakuza USA. While I prepare things, we're going to go for a quick break. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everybody, to the ESL GO4 Go4 Finals for North America, where this is our final Go4 Cup before the Season 1 Finals. My name is Ketchup, joined by Jackie on the desk, and it's now going to be Yakuza USA versus Amplified. So we have been in a position where our 4 North American teams that have qualified for the Season 1 Finals are the top 4 of today's Go4. So we get a nice little introduction, a nice little taster, an appetizer of what we can expect live in California in a couple of weeks, where right now V are sitting in Grand Finals, or V Gaming, I guess is the more accurate term now. They have rebranded just a little bit and they've got their own little logo. And it's going to be Hyped Up, who fell to them 2-0, waiting in the 3rd place playoff. So I would definitely want to say, prediction-wise, I think V is going to be taking this tournament because, you know, results don't lie. But whoever's going to face them in the grand finals to get that nice little bit of, you know, last-minute kudos, like it's interesting to see. Amplified have historically struggled a little bit versus the top 3. So my heart says, and brain, to be honest with you, says I think Yakuza USA have a better chance here because they just have a more higher success rate historically than Amplified do. But maybe being directly invited to the finals, which Amplified were able to obtain, maybe that's going to give them like a spark of confidence. Maybe that's going to really, maybe it's given them a fire, like a drive to say, hey guys, look, we've been picked, and now we've got to really step it up to make sure that we can hang with the big dogs. Yeah,
that's very true. You know, it puts them in a position now where they actually have to perform. You've got your invite, you know you're going, so prove to them that it's actually worth it, that you was an interesting one. Something that I did just realize as well is obviously Jen being on the side of V, where they're actually going to the finals. That'll be our only female competitor at the event.
I think so.
But it's interesting that there will at least be a female competitor that's actually made it through on one of the better sided teams from North America as well. Obviously, you know, floating around the sort of top to second seed really from what we've seen. So be interesting to see how Jen fares at the event.
Yeah, for sure. It's always just really nice to sort of see variety there, and obviously it's through skill alone. Like, you know, Jen, she's always a really star performer on V2. So definitely exciting to see what her performance will be like. But it's the same as everyone else's performances. You know, offline where the chips are down and things get a little bit scarier, a little bit more to play for, and you start to realize that the big money's on the line. It can really affect a few players, and we'll see how they all fare when the pressure is on. Map rotation-wise, I believe we have the vetoes ready to go. There they are, on the bottom of the screen, Farming Complex and Skyscrapers to start. And if we go to map 3, Europe Square. So we have seen a lot of Skyscrapers today. Farming Complex, we did just see that go to the hands of V. We mentioned how it's one of their stronger maps, and they followed through 100% as we expected. But Yakuza USA, I think they've looked pretty good on this one too. The difference here will be, I think, a traditional map veto system. You know, we can't forget the fact that Hyped Up allowed V to pick all the maps because they didn't care, and unfortunately what we saw was a 2-0 because of it. But I think these guys would have been a little bit more traditional.
Well, not messing around this time. And look, it is quite a spooky map. It's pumpkins.
What a time for it.
Thing is,
but it's not night time.
It's, yeah, right? I'm disappointed. You've already got pumpkins on this map. Would it have hurted to, you know, just cut into those pumpkins a little bit, theme them, give them a couple of googly eyes, give them a mouth, put a candle in there. Could have worked. Replace the pigs with, you know, scary pigs. Replace the cows with scary cows.
Can you just give them devil horns?
You could have done, yeah.
You just give red devil horns to each cutout.
To all the animals.
There you go, yeah. Spooky, spooky.
Could have had a witch. One of the pigs could have been dressed up as a cat.
Oh, yeah, I see. It's like dressing up as a different animal.
That would have been quite scary.
Yes.
We're in.
We are indeed. J Master taking the first blood. And actually, look at that team wipe for Yakuza. Already got 100 points, just like that, fresh off the starting line.
I like the fact that there's a player now in Yakuza just called Orp.
Maybe just, yeah. So
big fan of CS, this guy.
A new fan of the Orp.
Yeah.
I can only, actually, that's the only reason someone would call themselves AWP.
I mean, potentially. The actual use of the words comes from Arctic Warfare Police, which is the type of variety of the gun that the AWP is.
Oh!
It's just an L96.
Now, I don't play Counter-Strike, so I don't know that.
Yeah.
That important fact. But
that's why it's called
the trivia.
There you go.
Thanks for the trivia right there, mate. But right now, Yakuza USA are having a pretty solid game. Amplified are starting to claw things a little bit back. Kitty Monster takes out 1, looking to get 2. And there's the triple kill before Thanos clicks his fingers and makes that one disappear. But is it enough to bring them back into the fight? Migat's able to stop it just a little bit and hold control over C. Oh, Kitty walks right into a grenade, but it doesn't matter because a point-blank grenade of Kitty Monster's own is going to be that one more than enough.
can I just say I found a new favorite for the names of players in Guns of Boom?
Kitty Monster.
No, I'm going to go for Nokia La Baby. Like, I feel like that's just... What even is that?
I don't know.
It's the way it gets more aggressive as well. So Nokia, with a 1, of course. And then just La Baby.
And then there's 2 Ys. La Baby!
La Baby.
La Baby.
How is Babby formed?
It's Nokia. La Baby! And then Stanos.
Then Orb. Well, Orb's been shotgunned by Anubis. Classic Anubis.
Oh, what a sentence. He has weighed your heart on the scales, and the decision is shotgun. Orb getting some revenge on Anubis. I love these names so much. I really do.
Watch out. Nokia La Baby's coming in from behind.
And now can he get it? Oh no, killed by Kitty Monster.
Classic Kitty Monster. Too much fluff. Can't get through to deal damage.
Anubis holding the point. And actually, an Anubis head! Anubis is wearing an Anubis hat! That's sick! That's got to be why he called himself Anubis, surely.
An Orp's wearing an Orp hat, which is just some feathers.
No.
Kitty Monster has a cowboy hat, but on the back it looks like a face.
Sick. Nokia's in big trouble. Magat gonna get the surprise there. The fight's really sort of just going in Yakuza's favor this late on, and they don't have a lot of work left to go. Just about 100. And they're gonna take this win. I feel like Amplify just haven't really been able to be as consistent, right? They've been getting some fights, but it's nothing, you know, pivotal. And because of that, Yakuza USA are gonna walk through this first map. Farming Complex goes to them. And now we have 1 more map left to go, potentially.
Wow, yeah, down to the wire potentially here between these two sides. Yakuza do pick up the first one. Pretty dominant overall affair. They won it with the majority of the points. Pretty substantial lead for the most part. Seemed like they definitely had you know, their feet dug firmly in there. Still more to come, however. So you never know. Seems like at this point, it's probably just going to be a 2-0 the entire way through to our grand finals, though. Obviously, we do have that third place decider before that.
Now, I feel like this is one thing that we tend to see in America a lot more consistently, which is those sort of like dominant performances. The sort of the twos, even before, when we look at the bracket, like the top 8 team bracket, before we even got into our 2 semis. It's 2-0, 2-0, 2-0, 2-0. That's just how this part of the world seems to go. There is a very clear divide between best and not best.
Yeah, very one-sided. You know, it's not as clean-cut or as close as the European region is, where it really goes down to the wire. We see those third-place decider maps coming out a lot more in Europe, whereas it tends to just be the quick 2-0s for the North American side, and that's what we seem to be seeing once again. Obviously, in the bracket right now, it has just been 2-0s the entire way through. So if this also goes 2-0, it's going to be a pretty clean sheet the entire way.
Well, Skyscrapers is going to be our next map, and again, it's just, I think the better team can really, really win on this map. You know, it's very, very skillful as a map. There's a lot of different angles you can pick, and it's not really our usual program of, you know, sometimes on these more traditional team deathmatch maps, you can kind of just keep your crosshair at a set height. Obviously, you know, you can't crouch and prone and do things like that in Guns of Boom, and mechanically everyone stands. That's the way it's been designed. So, you know, at a high level, you can kind of just keep your crosshair at a level height, and if you kind of just remember that the height you have to keep your crosshair on, you pretty much know that even if someone comes around the corner, it's going to be a headshot because you're already at that height.
Yeah.
Whereas on Skyscrapers, which is way more vertical, because of just naturally how high everyone respawns, and you fall down, there's a lot of staircases as well. It's kind of hard to pick those shots, and you have to be a little bit more reactionary. You know, you see someone at a point, it's flick to land it, rather than just sort of setting a set height, which is normally what you would traditionally do.
Yeah.
TDM.
Obviously a lot harder there as well because you're on the phone, so being able to go for more drastic flicks, certain players need to take time to develop that skill, like Killing Machine, whereas if you're not in that sort of same caliber, it's going to be a bit harder for you, and you do need to try and play around positions that complement you being able to work in and out of cover and have a clean line of sight for the most part. But we are diving in now. It is going to be Skyscrapers between the two teams to try and see if it'll be a 2-0 or if we're going to be going to a third place decider. Well, a third map decider between these two teams as we kick this one off now, my last semi-final for North America.
Well, we'll soon see if it's going to be a 2-0. I feel like with the rate things are going, it probably is going to be, because Yakuza, they've been like a solid third place the entire time. You know, looking at those, the Season 1 standings where Yakuza were third place, way above everyone else, but not quite, you know, above the big wigs of V and hyped up. But third place does still carry some weight. It was the top 3 teams through points that we're going to qualify for the finals, and they've been able to achieve at least that. That does carry some weight with it.
Oh, Orp's been shotgunned by a Nokia.
Nokia changed their name.
He's changed his name.
To just Nokia, no longer Le Baby.
I wonder why he's at a rebrand.
Maybe he watched the stream and now
his friends will message him and they're making a mockery out of it.
Oh no. If you watch it back, I didn't mean it like that. I promise.
Honestly. Nokia, take me back.
If you're not getting roasted by the Mandem, you're not the Mandem.
All part of the boys here.
Getting getting a clean double kill. Hello, how about that?
It's the strength of the Nokia.
Unbreakable. And they've actually established a really nice amount of control in the center. They're trying to sort of pick those angles as Yakuza now try and come through. Can be hard to do because those angles that you hold, you're gonna have no choice but to hold them, but it is right out of their respawn. You know, so there is like a grace period you kind of have to give, knowing they're going to be immune to at least a few of your initial shots. But you still want to hold that angle, right? You don't want to give it up for free because they'll just run in and get a position on you. J-Master with the triple kill, keeping Yakuza in the fight. Very, very well done there. And for those that have joined, maybe you're new to Guns of Boom, increased kill varieties do grant you more points. You know, grenade kill, a headshot, a double kill, triple kill, etc., etc. They'll carry different amounts of weight, but it gives you more points than a traditional kill by itself. So getting those extra, you know, spicy versions of a kill, very, very important, especially in team deathmatch.
A slower start to this one. Both teams sitting at around 170 points right now as the frags start to come back through once again. Amplified looking for the trades here. Thanos is so low, but he's actually been able to get out of there and survive for quite some time before he was taken down. Amplified now just barely peek out and grab 202 points, making that 216 as they're still finding the majority of these frags and keeping themselves into good positions. Kitty Monster finally gets traded back upon, but Nokia up close and personal with a shotgun, not able to win that one, completely overrun. Just the sheer numbers of Yakuza overthrowing them right now.
And there we go, a triple kill just before J-Master bites the dust. So the damage is done. All right, Kitty Monster and Nokia, they get 2 grenade kills. Again, extra bonuses of points if you land a grenade kill. So that was important to get 2 in a row. They're not quite in the lead though, that's the danger. This is the classic stuff of TDM though, you know, the back and forth, the close games until the pivotal last moments. Not quite able to ambush as well. Thanos destroys Nokia for going into the wrong part of town. But I mean, I respect the attempt, you know, maybe try and take out one. I think these constant 2v1s can be kind of hard to take though, especially if everyone has the same weapon. That's the problem. If everyone's got this one shotgun that does massive damage, you can't really surprise 2 people because they're just going to turn on you and shoot as fast as they physically can. Still close, but Yakuza, they've been constantly in the lead. And if they can keep this consistency, which it looks like they will, because, oh no, Magatno Gokui killing spree and a grenade kill. That's basically 100 points in itself. That was close, and now 100 points separates the 2 teams. I would say this would have been a close game indeed, but Yakuza might win it pretty easily. But hang on, okay, some point-blank kills coming through for Amplified. This is looking good, a triple kill as well. Now they're in the lead. I definitely spoke too soon. Sticking together. They've lost a lot of stack though, Jackie.
Yeah, this is rough. I mean, the position they're in now, you can see who's favored because users still have armor, whereas the side of Amplified, they're brought down quite low. But J-Master peeks into that grenade, was able to not really get efficient nade back either, but they do still have the armor advantage. Phanos and Goku have to do so much, but they push through. They're going to be able to find that flick over. Keeps on going, but he's been left on his own. Thanos didn't push with him, which is a bit weird. Eventually, they will start to converge through. Now they only need 5 points. This should be the 2-0 for Yakuza.
I'm nervous about Yakuza's stack, though. They're pretty weak across the board. Only Magat has armor, and they might have bitten off too much more than they can chew. It's put them really, really low on health. If Amplified now, they have to play this one perfectly, but the win is still possible. The problem is time is not on their side. Here comes the fight. They're trying to go for J-Master, who's really weak, but they're clustering together. They do manage to take one out, but Orp finishes the job. The attempt to surprise them was done, but it was unsuccessful, and Orp just turned with the Porcupine easily. Yakuza USA, 2-0 right there, and now we'll be seeing them move on.
Yeah, big play from Yakuza towards the end, obviously stepping it up. They got themselves in a position that was so close, but they understood perfectly how to play it. Orp with a nice trade, and they actually do go on to win that one. So another 2-0. We now get ourselves into a position where it just comes down to the crunch, really, the core of the broadcast, the 2 best-of-5s that remain.
Yeah, that's always the thing. I always feel like the two semis that we have, it's like the appetizer to the broadcast because there's less maps to play. It's more of a trend setter where now we're going to find out the third place playoff and, of course, the grand finals. Our third place playoff up next is going to be Amplified versus Hyped Up. Got to be honest, that's going to be a bit of a David and Goliath, I feel. So if there's the chance for a 3-0, it's probably going to be that one. But, of course, to finish off the night, it's going to be Yakuza USA and V Gaming. So, two matchups that we've seen more than enough times at this point. But I think it's a pretty clear indication when in both of these matches there is a superior team and a team that has a lot of work to do.
I wonder if Hyped Up will do their vetoes this time.
Maybe, or if they don't, they're really just standing true of like we really don't care.
Yeah, they're not that bothered. I mean, if you don't need your veto for the semi-final, you probably wouldn't bother doing it for the third place decider.
Yeah, one would think so. You definitely think so, but maybe if they do veto this time, they might have just gone, all right, guys, well, let's take it a little bit more seriously, because let's not forget, top 3 gets money, and 4th place does not get anything. So even though this is not the big tournament, you know, the Season 1 finals in a couple of weeks is definitely the end game for all 4 of these teams. There's still cash to play for in this GO4, so you want to make sure you get at least a little bit of it. Even now when we're in the 3rd place, and it's not as much, but it's still worth your time, right? You know, you're still putting time into this tournament. You want to get a little bit of a reward for the effort that you've been putting in.
Yeah, you might as well obviously play your heart out, right? Because it's money or no money is the 2 options. So do you want some extra money or do you not?
Just there's like no kids, no 3 kids and no money,
yeah.
Or no kids and 3 money.
I'll take the free money, please.
That's it. That's it. That was a reference right there. If you got it. Points to you. But up next is going to be Hyped Up and Amplified, our 3rd place playoff. As always, we're going to go for a quick break and set up this match. It's going to be a 3 out of 5, so we have the vetoes to go through. Hopefully Hyped Up actually do their vetoes this time, or maybe they won't. We'll find out in due time. We're going to go for a short break. Don't go anywhere because we will be right back. Welcome back, everybody, to the ESL Guns of Boom GO4 Finals for North America, where we have our grand finals ready to go. It's going to be Yakuza USA versus V. But first, we have a third-place playoff to decide which of our two teams remaining here is actually going to get some money, which is the big thing. One of our teams in this third-place playoff is going to get some money. The other one
gets 3 kids.
Is not going to get any money. They're going to get 3 kids, yeah. But wait, for 3 kids and no money, why can't... That's it. You know what?
We'll take it.
You put me on the spot, but in many ways, they're both one and the same. Maybe if there's 3 kids, we're going to win 3rd place and get money for the 3 kids.
Possible.
Have you factored that? Have you thought about that? I certainly didn't. It's going to be up between Hyped Up and Amplified. Going to be honest, Hyped Up should win this one really easily.
Yeah.
Surely.
You're looking at it on paper, right? They're definitely one of the, by far the best teams in North America. They've pretty much been the first place team every time we've really seen them play. There's only a couple of small instances where V have been the one to upset them, which has happened once again here, so in the lower bracket. So yeah, I feel like they should just walk all over them. This will probably be a pretty quick 3-0, and then we'll get straight in with that juicy grand final.
Exactly, and this is what we expect, so by all means this could be different, and it may not actually be the way we expect it to be, but as our final stream takes place, anything is possible. If Hyped Up just were to randomly lose here, who knows? We know that Hyped Up had their interesting exchange in the semi-finals where they decided that they just didn't want to do a veto, and unfortunately they decided they didn't want to veto and got destroyed 2-0 because of it. So whether they're going to veto now remains to be seen. We'll see if they do. Do you think they will or not? Do we think so?
I mean, you should do, right? It's a veto, but then again,
think so,
if they haven't already, then maybe they won't. It's a weird one.
That was they could do, but also maybe they won't do.
Who really knows? That's the thing about Guns of Boom. It can go either way.
Yeah, the thing is, it really could. Like, this is a fast game where maps, they cannot go beyond 5 minutes. You almost never see a timeout, so it's always less than 5 minutes per map. And if one of your guys or girls is having an off day, then it can, it can be pretty significant on the receiving end. It's an unpredictable game, I think, on the best of days. But the top level teams in America have been able to show us that they are good enough to, I think, take how wild some of these maps can be and still craft strategies. You just got to be quick with it. You've just got to be on the ball to say, right, we can't make any mistakes here. Yeah. And a good start in Guns of Boom, I think, is mandatory. You need to have a good start because it's hard to come back from a deficit. Hyped Up has Amplified. Hyped Up, just to know, if any of you guys have just joined, the #1 team in North America, they have way more points than any other team basically in the world, and then Amplified, who were direct invite, so Game Insight I assume would have invited them to say, hey look guys, you've been with us since the beginning, and the Amplified have been there since day one. They have been here the whole time, and they've been playing well. They just weren't quite good enough to reach top 3, but 4 teams get sent to the finals per region, so they were in a great position to be part of that selection. But if Amplified get just completely destroyed, like they had a hard time in the semis, and if they get destroyed here, it's definitely, these guys have a lot of work to do. They were picked and they've been put in the tournament, but they need to prove to everyone that they are of that standard, that they deserve the money.
I mean, it's not surprising though, right? If they come 4 out of the 4 American teams, then yeah, you probably would expect them to be placing 4th, right? They're the 4th place team out of all 3 of them, and they've had quite a hard run as well. You're now going up against effectively what will be the 1st seeded team out of North America as well. So 4 versus 1, they should lose it. This should be a 3-0. And if you just look at it from benchmarks of what we've seen. However, Amplified, maybe they've got something up their sleeves. Maybe they want a 3rd place. Maybe they want to actually step up and walk away with this one. Unlikely, but we'll see.
Well, I've just been informed that the vetoes are ready, and once again, Hyped Up just didn't want to veto. They just went picky maps.
Not asked, yeah.
Which means Old Factory, Farming Complex, Europe Square, Skyscrapers, and a military warehouse if we reach that point. Farming Complex is going to be our first map. Now, this might be less prominent. I think not vetoing is a sign of confidence. It is a huge sign of confidence to say that we don't really care what you pick, we'll win anyway. However, that said, it's more likely the strategy will work against Amplified than it would have worked against V, because I think there is a skill gap between those 2 teams.
It's a team where maybe you should actually try and effectively counterban and play against them, and then there's this where it's like, all right, well, if you're in the 1st place society, you don't really care, whatever. If you want to just go for like let them pick all the maps and just cheese it, then sure. What we do walk away from this, though, is the information that clearly they like playing a lot of TDM and Control Point, and no other game modes.
Exactly, actually. That's a really good point. The only other TDM that was removed was Europe Street. I know some players competitively don't really like playing on that as much as some of the other maps because I assume it's because of how sniper heavy it is. Some players like it, some players don't. But if you're a top level player, you've got to make sure you can play under every environment, right? So whether you like it is irrelevant. You've got to be good at it anyway. So yeah, all King of the Hill was removed. It's like you said, it's entirely TDM and Control Point.
You know what's really weird, as a weird way to look at this? Imagine if Hyped Up have actually brained all of us and are real smart, and they've just 400 IQ'd this so that every team would show exactly what maps they do not want to play at any point, because they've now effectively just showed off that they have banned 3 of all of the available King of the Hill maps. They've only banned 1 TDM map, which was Europe Street. They then also have that in the other best of 3 with what maps they would want to ban out. It's pretty easy to work out, you know, what those 2 teams now don't like playing.
Have they just given Hyped Up loads of information?
It feels like they might have just given away their entire veto, potentially, to Hyped Up there for free. Because they've obviously just let them do the entire veto. And as you can see, 3 of the King of Hill maps are gone. So they're never going to pick King of the Hill. So you don't ever have to ban that.
That also means,
you know,
that also means that potentially the rest of the competition, like the European players, have just been given information as well with that in mind. Or, knowing that Hyped Up know, have they reached the next level, that 13th level intellect?
They've now actually banned the maps that Hyped Up were going to ban, just to throw them off, maybe. But who knows?
There are so many layers to this. It's layers
like
upon
4D
layers.
chess.
It is. We're living in 2018, they're living in 2028. That's what's going on here.
Wow. Checkmate. Done.
Done
Shut it
and
down.
dusted.
Just shut it down.
There are many things that we can take away from the potential here. It could be confidence from Hyped Up, or maybe this was a very unusual but could be very effective strategy of just trying to find out what their entire map selection is, which actually is a pretty big thing to give away as we go into the Season 1 finals in a matter of a couple of weeks. The one big thing here is the Old Factory. Again, we haven't really seen it a huge amount in competitive, so how North American teams approach Old Factory I find interesting, but I don't know, maybe it'll be just like every other TDM map with these 2 teams, but I found it interesting in Europe at the very least. Farming Complex is a map that we have already seen Hyped Up lose today. They lost very convincingly to V during this exact same map. And then Europe Square, Skyscrapers, I mean, we've seen these maps before, right? It's very, very traditional at this stage.
It's all pretty standard. I mean, you know, nothing too surprising. I guess the only benefit they have is you're starting off on Control Point, but even then I'd say Amplified, you know, sure, I mean, you can be a good Control Point team, but Hyped Up is still just very good across the board, which is the scary point. So who really knows? I mean, at most, as long as Hyped Up are feeling confident to play a lot of TDM tonight, I feel like they're going to be fine.
Yeah, and TDM is just one of those matches that I actually remember the broadcast we had where it was almost entirely TDM. So we got a really good, I think, example to see how teams approached every single map. So, you know, TDM is by far, I think, the matchups that we've seen the most at this stage in the GO4, and we got a really good example to see what it looks like at higher level. Again, I would always sort of rate Hyped Up higher. Amplified have one of those history moments for me where I think it was actually our first GO4 where Amplified won a map on Subway. They won Subway, and I think it was quite literally like a 2-minute map. It was absolutely insane how quickly it went through.
Yeah, you can have some very, very fast games. And we've seen that in the past where it can just be absolutely rinsed through just like that. But it seems like we are ready to be delving into the game now. Finally back again for the pumpkin fly through.
Happy Halloween, mate.
I know. It's truly been the spookiest day.
I think the spookiest thing is the weird veto situation. That's what's got me on my toes. However, you did bring up a really good point about that. Have Hyped Up just found out the map, you know, preferences from their competition they know they're going to be against in America?
It's definitely a possibility. I mean, you know, that's one way to look at it, right? Then again, it could just be laziness and arrogance.
It might be laziness and arrogance, by all means.
Which, sure, again, explainable. It's not surprising. But definitely an interesting one to look at. Hopefully we'll get some clarity on that as this game develops, especially going into the LA finals as well. At the very least, it's something that if they did not do intentionally, they need to now go back over and at least write this down somewhere, because you have pretty much got their entire veto given to you for free.
Well, I am wondering how this result is going to go, purely on the basis that Hyped Up, you know, we have seen that they are, as the highest seeded team in the game, you know, they are the worldwide standings. They have the absolute highest amount of points by a complete, you know, margin. It's not even close. That does mean that, you know, Amplified have a difficult run here. You know, I think a 3-0 is the most likely result. We can expect amazing things from Hyped Up. The one variable will be the fact that they did not choose their maps, but again, with that in mind, we would see Hyped Up dominate tournaments when the maps were a set rotation. You know, even when Hyped Up, the map selection was not in their hands back in the day, you know, when the first half of the season took place and it was a set rotation, that was still fine. You know, there was still no issue for Hyped Up there. So clearly, not being able to play on the maps that they themselves have selected is not going to be the end of the world, because they've been in these shoes before. That said, just to remind anyone that has just joined, this not being the Season 1 finals just yet, this is our final Go4 tournament though. The teams are going to be using this for experience, I think. They're not going to be taking this one as seriously, maybe. There's a potential that maybe Amplified are going to go full try hard here because they want to have a good result before finals. Or, to Hyped Up, have so many points and so much accolades in the community that maybe this tournament isn't very important to them. And they're just trying to sandbag and reserve and save their vetoes for the finals.
Who knows, but you know what? In this time, I feel like we could have grown some nice crops on our farm, Ryan. If we had a farm, what animals would we have?
Sheep.
Just sheep.
Rams. My favorite animal in the world is the rams that have the curly horns.
Yeah?
My favorite animal. My actual spirit animal. Angry rams.
Oh, quite good. Did you ever see the movie about the sheep that, like, start murdering people?
Oh man, you know what actually? What was it called? I'm pretty sure it was
Black Sheep? Or was it Sheep?
I was called Black Sheep. I've never seen it, but I've heard it was funny.
Yeah,
I heard it was a humorous film about killer sheep.
Yeah. Probably terrible, but quite good.
Like Sharknado.
Yeah.
And its many, many, many sequels.
Giant Sharknado.
Sharknado in Space, I believe, was a film that existed.
That's pretty good.
Space is where horror movie icons go to die. Would you agree?
Well, yeah. I mean, it depends as well, because even if you look at sort of...
They made a Friday the 13th in space, Jason X.
Really?
Jason
Wow.
X. It was where Jason went to space. They found him, and they tried to freeze him. And then he thawed out and went on a killing spree on a spaceship. They made a Hellraiser film, which took place in space.
Good.
There was a Hellraiser film where Pinhead is in space for some reason.
Was it just titled Pinhead in Space?
It was just, I can't remember which Hellraiser it was, but it was the one where they're in space.
Classic.
The Last Critters film. I've never seen it, no. That's one of our production guys that's chiming in on the conversation.
Terrible space horror movies.
There are some amazing space. Oh, there was a Leprechaun, you know, the Leprechaun series.
I do.
There was one in space.
Wow.
Leprechaun was in space, I'm pretty sure.
Where did they get the budget for that? How did they
fly their actors into space?
How did they do it on that movie?
How much did the oxygen cost?
Yeah. What if you get messing up your lines? You're like, I don't have any oxygen left.
We have to just go with the lines that we have, because I'll die otherwise.
That's actually what happened to Star Wars: The Last Jedi. They just had to go with what they had. Because they just physically didn't have any more oxygen to record the lines.
Wait, I did. Amidst this really important conversation,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I just got told that Hyped Up could not get a team together. Is that correct, production? That is correct. Hyped Up were unable to get a team together, so I would assume we'll have to forfeit the tournament.
So
and
look at this.
Amplified
Here's the 400 IQ play. Not only do we get the veto, but we don't even play the game.
So the 400. This was the 13th level intellect play, which was to not veto and your competition get their map picks out, so you can look at exactly what their favorite maps are, and then not play.
They walk away with not only the veto to study, but they've now frustrated Amplified so much that when it comes to the LA finals, they're going to be tilted when they play.
Because they're going to want to win so bad.
And they're going to be really disappointed with their third place.
They did their map vetoes, and they got the map picks, and went, I've seen everything I need to see. See you lose this next time. When they just walk and slam the door. That's what we just saw there. Congratulations to Amplified for that dominant 3-0.
Well done, lads.
Well done, guys. Well done. Well done. That was...
Hyped Up sound like they've had enough.
I don't understand what happened today.
Sounds like they've just been playing a lot of CS.
They've just been like... They know they're confirmed so much that... This was their final play.
We lost the semis. Get me out. I've had enough.
I want out of this house. But, I mean, what else is there to say? That means that we have one more set left, which is our grand finals. I will assume we're not breaking here, because it would be strange. Yeah, correct. Thanks, guys. Cheers.
There you go. It's a
V.
It's a small V.
There you go. That's V. V.
With
V
two
gaming.
Little dots.
Hell yeah. I'm the V and you do the dots. V.
V.
Sick.
And then Yakuza, obviously. Y-M-C-A.
Y-A. Z. How the hell would you Z? Just one thing in the middle. Like, your body would be the bit.
You have to be the Z.
You'd chant yourself. I don't know how you do it. Well, grand finals, right, is going to be V and Yakuza USA.
Wow.
So, just that revelation, that bombshell that you might not have been prepared for. Let's talk about it a little bit. So V, I think, are the favourites here
Yes.
because, you know, we just talked about this, but I mean, we have no choice but to talk about it again because Hyped Up didn't play. V and Hyped Up are the two top teams in America, without a doubt, right? So the fact that now V were able to effortlessly destroy them 2-0 because they got to play on their maps, shock horror. Versus,
so much so that they have folded and now don't exist.
I feel that I'm never gonna. I don't get it. I've never seen that happen before.
I have.
Oh, really?
But normally just in CS. Yeah.
Well, fair enough. Not where I come from, mate. Not where I come from. But where I come from, people travel to offline events and they spend their own money and time to go. So it'd be weird if someone like flew themselves to an event, like an open bracket tournament.
You lose the first round. Just
lose
go,
the first round and go, well, guys, it's been a funny journey, but I'm going to go home. See you later.
My job here is done. As he packs up his PC.
and just leave.
Still 4 days of the event left. Not for me.
I really wanted to have a 100% round win rate, and seeing as I haven't, I think I'm done, guys. I've not been able to hit my personal goal. But yeah, V versus Yakuza USA. These are two more teams that we will 100% see at the Season 1 finals. So this is going to be a final storyline setter. It's not really going to be about the money here. It's going to be about making sure that one of these two teams can tell the rest of this part of the world we're #1, and we're going to go to the Season 1 finals with the latest win under our belts. So, again, in terms of prediction, I feel like we're pretty much unanimous here that we think V is going to take this.
Yes.
Do we think it's going to be a 3-0?
I'm not sure at this point. I feel like, you know, it could sort of go either way. I feel like it could be a bit more of an interesting, spicy affair, but V should probably come out on top. Again, could just go down to the veto, really depending on what we're getting sort of picked. If there's a couple of
these guys will
map
actually
picks,
pick there.
They will. They will. Unless, oh, word just coming in. V have DQ'd. They've had enough. No. They're out.
So both Yakuza and V DQ'd at the exact same time. What are the chances? But yeah, so I assume we're going to get some traditional map picks here. We are still in 3 out of 5 territory. Wham! There it is. Military Warehouse, Skyscrapers, Europe Square, Farming Complex, and finally, if it comes to it, the Wild West Saloon. So, traditional. These are old school maps. We're going to see same strategies. I'm expecting to see what we've seen a million times before. But this time it matters more because final champion is going to have that final bragging right going into the big bucks tournament in a couple of weeks. Yeah,
obviously this is the last attempt, right? This is your last sort of hurrah on stream where it's actually going to be broadcasted before we have that bit of downtime transitioning into the LAN finals. So this is kind of it. It's make or break, really, and sort of extract your stuff. To open it off for Military Warehouse, pretty standard stuff, right? Obviously quite classic, nothing really too out of the ordinary. This whole map pool is pretty much standard, and that's the worrying thing, because I feel like V, if they go in with a strong win on Military Warehouse, that could easily carry over to Skyscrapers, and Europe Square is the last map, sure, why not? That could be a 3-0.
But I'm also looking at some of the matches we haven't seen today, but we've seen a lot. Europe Square, that tends to be pretty unpredictable. Farming Complex, I really do think, there's a reason I think V have selected, you know what, actually, looking at their map picks right now, I think there's a reason that V have selected both Skyscrapers and the Farming Complex, because historically they have been phenomenal on these two maps. Back in the day when V would struggle to get maps on Hyped Up, on the streamed cups, I know they would win off stream, but when the stream was on, they would kind of have a hard time closing things out. Whenever they would take a map or take the first map, it almost always was one of those two maps that they actually got their win from. So I think we could definitely agree here that Farming Complex and Skyscrapers, I think that's actually V's two strongest maps. It is by far, I think, that their strongest maps. And then on Yakuza USA, we just, we haven't really been able to see as much of them as V constantly, because, the eternal battle between V and Hyped Up is a lot more prominent than other teams in North America. But it's going to be Military Warehouse first, Here we go, back where the seepage is real. And we can see that lighthouse, or as I call it, the fright house, going into October, because I'm just really smart and amazing with words.
See now, is it a lighthouse at all? Or is it actually just a smokestack type of thing?
It's probably not a lighthouse.
No, it can be.
It's probably just one of those, because it's like a military warehouse, it's like a factory, isn't it? That's what it is. So it's probably one of those big things that all the smoke comes out of.
You ever been to a Wixies?
No.
This is basically Wixies. This is just like the storage yard. So obviously just lots of seepage, toxic waste, and smoke everywhere.
Another day in the office.
It's pretty standard. Just watch out for the giant trees.
Either way, this is our first map here in the Grand Finals. Megat no Gokui spills the first blood. Not a team player. Maybe he should have been a team player. Wouldn't have walked into absolute death. And now Thanos taking out Gentrix gets a little bit, but already Megat gets a nice little burst of points, because that's going to be a butchered kill. Thanos gets another one. I believe Thanos might still be alive, so we're on the verge of a triple kill. Dare I say a killing spree, if Thanos can play his cards right.
Well, it's pretty much 100 points there to 50. You round it up here for Yakuza right now, but V start to get themselves back into it. As Gentrix will find another frag, takes down Goku as they begin to build from this, and the aggression's coming around. Nade's going to be going off. You can see him just hustling and bustling, trying to stay as a core free here as this aggression comes round. Orb, if he does re-peak it, should win this as he goes down, getting the frag onto not a team player. Corrupt with the trade on Thanos. Very much just clean sailing right now. Nothing too crazy, as they're pretty much neck and neck for the majority of this matchup.
Well, Orb's killing spree is going to do a nice little job of giving them a little burst here. But with Orb going down, that's going to sort of reset things just a little bit, keeping us 140 to 152. And right now, deadlocked. I think there's a reason this might have been one of Yakuza's map picks. They, again, now we've kind of reached the end of this season. We've really had a good opportunity to kind of see how some of these players can really sort of handle maps and what their favorite maps are. And I really feel like Yakuza USA, again, when we look at Military Warehouse, it seems to be something they do pretty well in. That said, V, pretty strong on every map. Gentrix gets 2 kills, looking for another one. Ooh, that Thanatos kill from far away. Yes, please. They're starting to run away with this one a little bit. Every time a kill does not go in V's favor, they're able to at least trade it out, leaving Yakuza back at the drawing board. And now Thanos and J-Master working hand in hand. J-Master, unfortunately, biting off a bit more than he can chew there. Gentrix makes quick work. Team player should be able to get a surprise here. Oh, Thanos! Cannot believe Thanos was able to turn that one around.
Yeah, the cutthroat assassin, as he does backstab. But a pretty tight position here. However, V are barely edging out ahead. They need to have a good run here. If they get a nice early start, they can definitely start to leap and bound their way towards a victory here in this grand final, and that's what they hope to achieve. Corrupt with 1 kill, not a team player, doubles it up. Unfortunately, he will be punished, but Corrupt keeps it going as they do start to dominate now and blow them to bits. They'll be reaching that 400-point mark.
We are starting to reach the danger territory. Again, the last 100 points. It kind of makes all the difference in TDMs, where every death starts to matter crucially. Yakuza USA having pretty much double the work at this stage, unfortunately for them. And as that headshot goes through, it's going to be just good to even better. Only a few left. These guys take the win. Gentrix gets surprised. Unfortunately whiffs that knife slash. A little bit of a bad range there, but it's not going to be too punishing just yet as Via continuing their climb. Corrupt getting a grenade kill, the extra bonus of points, taking it with open arms. Jen getting another one butchered. Ooh, the double knife kill! That's pretty much guaranteed the win right there. This is going to be map 1 for V. And yeah, ready to move on, I think.
Yeah, this is just a matter of time, really, just the formalities until it's over. They only need 1 more kill no matter what. Yakuza would have to get every frag in their favor and not lose a single player to win, which isn't going to happen. That'll be the pick. So V, they take that one. They get themselves into a pretty good position now to actually lock this down, as they only have to win 2 more maps.
Now, the dangerous thing as well was that V won a map that was not their pick. They're now going to go into a map that was their choice, which I think is Skyscrapers first, I'm pretty sure. So if they won their first match of a choice that was not theirs, they're now going to go into a map which is pretty, by far one of their strongest, and it's the same game mode. So I'd be concerned if I was Yakuza USA. The odds are not in their favor as we go into our next map, and this just came down to, again, just wonderful 1v1 ability from V. All of these instances where they would go 1 versus 1, I catch you round a corner, you ambush me, and it's time for us both to just, I'm going to outgun you or you're going to get points. I feel like V just have that combat skill a little bit more refined than Yakuza does.
Yeah, it's seeming so. I mean, V just looking very effective into that matchup. Overall, teamwork was on point, finding necessary kills and just storming ahead. Not a team player, having a pretty effective run as well for his side. So nice to see. 2 more maps to come if they do hope to try and take it with a clean best of 3-0 there, which, I mean, there's potential. You know, if they carry on playing like they are right now, it would be pretty effective. Skyscraper is going to be TDM as well. And then Europe Square will be the only map that is actually deviating from that initial 2 TDM. So, yeah, I mean, fair play, right? You know, if you win Skyscrapers here, it's in your favor. You like control point, so you're not really going to be that too downtrodden about going into Europe Square. I reckon they can win this pretty easily.
Yeah, we've already seen V play phenomenally well on control points today. Obviously, it was Farming Complex, which is a little bit different, but as we go into Skyscrapers, we're going to see if this is going to be what V need to secure that 2-0. And again, you know, just to remind some of the people that may have just joined, this being our last GO4 finals of Season 1. Everyone wants to be the last champion, don't they, as we go into that Season 1 finals, which is just so important. But if you're the last winner, you could, you know, really carry that momentum all the way into the big money tournament in a couple of weeks' time.
I didn't realize there was a helicopter pad on this map.
I feel like every time we look at these run-throughs, we notice something new about each map. It's pretty cool. Like the reflections on the skyscraper glass there.
Yeah, and if you actually crouch over by that electric box and zoom really far in, you can see a small picture of Pepe Le Frog.
Oh, that's pretty cool, man. I wish I believed it.
It's new. It's fresh in this update.
There's an update, a Halloween theme.
Yeah, little Halloween Pepe.
What is orange?
It could be. I'll send an email to the art team.
What a pit, an official pitch.
Yeah, just, hey guys.
But it will need to be for next year's Halloween now, like long gone.
Well, the 31st hasn't come yet. We've still got time.
That's true, but...
Tip for Halloween must stay.
Just put it right at the top of the priority list. But this is a very even start, actually, for both of these teams. Yakuza currently in the lead, but that doesn't mean much. As V steal that one away. They get 2 kills in their favor, and now it's starting to get traded. And this is the classic TDM, isn't it? You know, it's entirely built around those long-range weapons to get damage, but when it's point blank, we're either, you know, new shotgun territory or just good old-fashioned porcupines. Porcupine, I think, a lot more favored in North America. We see a lot more of it here, even though, you know, back in the day when everyone was using it. Now there's a little bit more variety, so there's, you know, do you use one or the other?
Yeah, there's more to be done. Orb just sprinting in here, trying to get something done, but can't really achieve too much towards the mid-center of the map. It is 117 to 151, so Yakuza at least leading in the early stages here. Not a team player as well, gonna have his armor completely shredded, but his 2 members on that side gonna try and bound together to find this frag. They get aggressive, but they've lost him. They've only just worked out where Orp is as they take this firefight. They're isolated. Gentrix does well to actually stay alive in this situation. Gen carries it on as well to support him, gets that shut down on Orp. And the backstab from Gem could be useful, however she second guesses herself and just holds the angle instead.
Now, holding the angle did allow a few more members of V to actually close in. It's now weakened everyone of Yakuza, not really in a good position to try and take a fight. They've definitely communicated that there are 2 people coming up behind, so they're trying to hold all the angles they can. They do a pretty good stack now. J-Master gets 1, Jen takes 1 as well. Can we get 1 more shot? No, it's not looking the right way, and Orp effortlessly takes that one out. But because of that one good sequence, V are currently in the lead. Oh,
wow.
That was a cool grenade, actually.
It's the first time we've seen someone throw it up.
That's a good point. Normally everyone just throws it straight forward.
Just throw it. Get it out there. They're learning trigonometry. They're understanding the power of shapes.
The eternal battle for the middle of the map. It's going to continue here. Long range. Gentrix just trying to be a team player here. That's going to be a grenade. Oh, J-Master losing pretty much all of his armor there. He's going to trade losing armor for a guaranteed kill, though. Not before Corrupt deals with the problem. Thanos trades it out 1 for 1. Can't really say I'm surprised with how this map is going because, you know, this is Team Deathmatch. This is what happened. Oh, Jen getting the surprise! Not looking out for that one. Double kill. Taking that one to the bank. Cashing it in. I don't know how they weren't ready for Jen, to be honest. Like, just completely surprised like that, and no turnaround either when someone had gone down. Very slow reactions.
Yeah, just pretty awkward stuff. We now fall into this position where V have very much started to push ahead. Nice headshot as well from not a team player. Going to be trying to go for the backstab as well.
Look at him go.
Oh, he's burning, but he's staying alive. Gets into the rear, finds the killing spree, which is huge before he goes down. So now they're only 100 points off the win, whereas Yakuza still lagging behind to actually make it to that 400 mark. Orp as well gets first contact off. Actually does win the fight overall, but the trade is fast, and Jed needs to stay alive here and get the follow-up, but not a team player. A little bit too slow in re-aggressing. However, Ryan, it seems like this will be the win no matter what.
Yeah, we're in that awkward position where Yakuza, they have no choice now but to be as defensive as possible, but they can't give up a single kill. Thanos caught really in the wrong side of town in Gendrix. Even if Gendrix falls, that one grenade weakening the rest of the team is going to be the objective there. It's not going to be to get a kill, it's going to be to weaken everyone else and allow the rest of your team to pick up, which is exactly what V did, and because of that, they have a comfortable 2-0 situation. One map away from a 3-0, and V being our final champions of North America.
Yeah, and it seems like that is going to be the way history is made, right? Moving now into control point, I believe Europe Square, which will be our last map for this one, and you can't help but feel like in reality this is going to be them now just dominating and locking it down and just being pretty happy with how well they've performed, because overall they've looked pretty damn good. I mean, you beat Hyped Up, so much so that they completely just gave up for the rest of the tournament. And you now moved on to get 2 maps off Yakuza. Of course, not to be confused with Black Bulls from Europe. But if they can 3-0 here, it would be a huge success. And that would possibly mean, you know, in terms of the standings, rather than thinking of V as our second-seeded team there, more of being the first-seeded team from North America. Obviously, that isn't going to affect their overall standings when we get into that for LA, but in terms of a mental aspect, they're going to be pretty confident.
Yeah, exactly. I would definitely agree with you there, because the thing is, there was a time when Hyped Up were the not even close, undisputed #1 team in terms of points. And as we kind of reached the end of this season, V did a really, really good job of just, you know, straight up catching up to Hyped Up. So I think if memory serves me right, there's only about 150 points or so that separates them. And after an entire season, 150 points isn't really too much. So if they were slightly behind and have been basically barely a #2, and they destroyed Hyped Up, and they've won this tournament 3-0 in Grand Finals, maybe they're going to be going into the Season 1 Finals actually as the team to beat from this part of the world. I wouldn't be surprised if that's what the community considers them.
No, yeah, that's very true. I mean, they do sort of seem like the top dogs right now, the head honchos. So hopefully they can keep that mindset going and be able to show that off when we get into the LA Finals, which would obviously be a good way for them to dominate on home soil and in that LAN environment. But we are into what could possibly be our final map here as we delve into Europe Street.
Europe Street has been a very, very calculated map up until this point. I would not be surprised if we see teams approach it the exact same way, where it's not about kills in a control point, it's about making sure that you're bagging the points and nothing more. If you hold more points, you will win. It's as simple as that.
Well, let's see if they can try and kick it off well as the early aggression comes through. They're all going to be sprinting down towards that B point. And the early aggression does go in favor of the blue side, which will be V currently. They've got control of C and B now versus only the A cap of Yakuza. And also just look how many points they've already accumulated. 100 points there. So the 40 that has been picked up from Yakuza because of the early firefight, and the kills are still going in their way.
Well, that's a fantastic start, isn't it, Jackie? If I've ever seen one. Megat may try and take B, but is very, very weak. One headshot's going to just delete him from existence.
Not a team player needs to go in here and actually help. I don't know why he's just letting Jen do all the work. Instead, wanted to just hold a choke point and try cut off the flank. Makes it a little bit awkward. I mean, Orp could actually defend this now. Or they somehow trade. Not a team player got in just in the nick of time there. I mean, that can be a recap. You're going to have A site and B site. They're going to take A, so they need to go for the back cap on C, which they already are. So at least they've read it well.
J-Master really putting in the work in this map, but it's not going to be enough to stop Corrupt from delivering the killing blow right there. It's now going to be B. Now, the one thing to pay attention to, you know, from a spectator standpoint, it's always going to be who owns more points. Like right now, V, they have 2 points. If they continually hold B and C, they're going to have such a natural advantage here. They don't even need to be winning these fights. They just need to make sure that the kills they get prevent a point being captured. Like right now, Jed wasn't seen, got 1 kill, surprise, that's going to be a double now. 3 people versus 1 J-Master. Corrupt pretty weak, but it doesn't look like he's in the line of sight. An excellent, excellent grenade to deal with that problem. And look, all 3 points. This is complete domination. Unfortunately, because the fights did not go in their favor, Yakuza USA are now horrifically down. And that is why you got to fight for these points. Or barely alive. I mean, yeah, that's exactly guaranteed. Doesn't matter if you win that fight, you're gonna die, mate. Guaranteed.
Yeah, this is really rough. They're going to recapture C here. They still have such a lead. Instantly, the Death Squad comes back towards the B site as well. Orp should be traded even if he doesn't find the frag, and he doesn't. Just goes down. Gentrix as well, the follow-up kills, and have to butcher his way through J-Mars. That's a killing spree now coming out. A double kill there for Corrupt as well. They'll both bound on the point. Orp really should just go try back cap here, but instead go straight in. I mean, fair play. They were quite low. Gets the nade off, gets the follow-up frag as well, so they can recap that for the B side. Which is a pretty bold play to make, but still the point advantage is just too big to bargain with. V have to win this, Ryan.
They're trying to take the point, but oh, the one-man defense from Corrupt. Double kill, taking that one happily. And now that's going to allow them to keep A. If they want to take A, they're going to have to not fight for B. Just, you have to constantly split your attention, and that's not what you want at this level of play, but it's how V have done such a wonderful job of just splitting up everything on the map. Feels like, you know, you go for one of these points and it's difficult. It really is difficult because you take one thing, you're neglecting the other, and the points will continue to escape you.
Splitting up more than Taylor Swift right now, right?
Oh my.
There you go.
All the Spice Girls.
Very true. But they, you know, they've had their comebacks. Unfortunately, it doesn't feel like Yakuza are going to have one of their own.
I don't think so.
No. It's a matter of time until this one ends. V should be walking away as our final champion of North America. I think so.
The natural climbing of points is going to make this pretty impossible. Especially now we're starting to see C get captured. One more point is going to do it. Is this going to be enough? I believe it should be. And there we go, the final point capture. Let's go to V, who take grand finals of our final Go4 stream 3-0. I definitely think we're going into Season 1 finals as V as the #1 team to watch.
Yeah.
I do think so.
It's crazy. I mean, even though they're not technically the first seeded team, right? Because they became second below, hyped up there. Right now looking like the top seed when it comes down to just individual performance in terms of what they can do. They've dominated here. They've showed up against the teams they needed to. This is possibly the hardest run they could have had as well because you've played off against first and third place. You yourself are the second place team. So, you know what? Yeah, they've proven that they definitely deserve that. Overall, teamwork looked good. Everything seemed nice. Just seemed like they were the better team on the day.
Oh, you know they're going to be confident at the Season 1 finals too. You know they're going to be oozing confidence. Now, the objective here is going to be to just make sure their nerves are in check because the LAN environment is going to be new to basically every single one of them. They can go by previous tournaments. They now know they have what it takes to rule the roost in North America, which sets up for our natural story, doesn't it? Europe versus North America. Which region is going to be the strongest and which one will take the trophy for the Season 1 finals. I'm excited to see it myself. I'm really, really not sure how to call it. I think that, I don't know, I kind of look at the way North America approach this game and how they play it so aggressively, and I kind of think that they'd be the side of the world I'd probably be a little bit more worried about because it's more dominant here. And that could be maybe the competition across the board is not as high, or maybe a team like V is just that good.
That's the worrying factor, right? Is that they definitely focus a lot more on just aggression and pure individual skill. We have those players in Europe, but we also have more tacticians that try and play a little bit of a slower style of game and use the map control to their advantage. Are we going to see that when we get to the live finals? You know, are the American teams quickly going to have to adapt against the culture shock of the European sides? All things that will be answered on the day.
Well, believe it or not, guys, it's been many months, it's been many weeks, but this is the point where our Season 1 Go4 Cups are coming to an end.
Yeah.
We have had so many tournaments, so many matches and so many players, individual players. Has been a uncountable amount of you taking part and enjoying Guns of Boom and supporting it all along the way. So first things first, thank you all very much for your continued support for this game. Keep the community growing because this is just the beginning. We have a final recap to look at our teams that have made it to our Season 1 finals. So from Europe, the big ones, I think, is going to be the Black Bulls, but then we have Forza Esports, back-to-back, and the direct invite was Israel Esports. So we'll be seeing these 4 teams from the European region, guaranteed 100%. But now let's jump over to North America and find out these teams as well. Yakuza USA, hyped up, V Gaming, and finally the direct invite went to Amplified. So These are our confirmed teams and our confirmed numbers. Jackie, I'm going to put you on the spot. Which team do you think is going to win this entire thing?
You know what? I think I'm going to gamble here. I'm just going to go for one of the American sides. I reckon we see Hyped Up win it. I think they actually just win the entire tournament. The reason for that why is it feels like Black Balls have stagnated a bit. It seems like Europe as a whole, we're not really seeing too much crazy stuff coming out. You know, even with sort of a side like back-to-back, who knows how they're really going to perform when they get back to a LAN environment again. Last time it seemed like it made them look a bit shaky when we were in that environment. I reckon Hyped Up, with the arrogance they have and the sort of, you know, the mentality that seems to be there, I reckon they will just try swan into it and not really care and just sort of go for that sort of cocky style. They'll hand solo it. I reckon that's going to be the mindset. I think they're going to win.
It's hard for me to give a team, but I think North America as well. I think one of our North American teams will take it purely on the basis of they're going to be. First of all, they've been super dominant continually, so they're going to be used to that kind of setting. But the big thing is, hometown makes a big difference. You know, if one of our European teams can take the tournament, being under the nerves and the jet lag and the stress of being halfway across the world, they have it harder. I think they're going to have a harder time adjusting to the LAN environment. But if they win it, then by God, they've earned it, and congratulations. That said, thank you all very much for joining us. My name is Ketchup, and I've been joined on the desk by the ever-wonderful Jackie. This has been the ESL Guns of Boom GO4 Finals. Thank every single one of you for watching, and we'll see you at the Season 1 Finals.